every soul. Family ties, tangle, spaghetti in a maze. Growing up in this world of non-stop craze. Through Wonderland's gates we unlock the scene. Heartfelt confessions mixed with caffeine. Identity a mirror, emotions on the grind. Relationships weave webs tangled in the mind. Dad had a dad joke, mom had a battle cry. Bro screaming GTA, sister waving goodbye. Chaos at the dinner table, feelings hit the wall. Trying to grow tall, but the ceiling's way too small. Through Wonderland's gates we unlock the scene. Heartfelt confessions mixed with caffeine. Identity a mirror, emotions on the grind. Relationships weave webs tangled in the mind.
Welcome to Wonderland Unlocked, the podcast where we explore the strange, emotional landscapes of life through Alice in Wonderland lenses. I'm Courtney, and today we're stepping into a very different part of Wonderland, one that many of us know all too well. That twisted courtroom where logic has left the building and judgment flies like playing cards in a storm. Today's episode is called The Queen's Court, when family treats you like the villain. We're talking about what happens when you're unfairly cast as the bad guy in your family's narrative, when you become the scapegoat, the black sheep, the target, no matter how hard you try to explain, connect, or just be. This is for the people who've been accused of being too much, too sensitive, too angry, or too selfish, when all you were trying to do was survive, speak up, or break a cycle. We'll explore why families need a villain, the emotional impact of being cast as one, and how to step out of the courtroom without losing yourself. So tighten your crown, because we're going in. The Queen of Hearts doesn't need a trial to pass judgment. She just shouts, "Off with their head!" and suddenly you're the problem. Sound familiar? That's what being in the Queen's Court feels like, except in this version of Wonderland, the Queen might not be wearing a crown. She might be your mom, or your aunt, or your sibling, or your grandfather, smiling tightly from the head of the dinner table. And the court? That's your entire family dynamic. A place where some stories are sacred, some roles are permanent, and your job is to keep the peace, whether it's peaceful or not. There's a script, there's a hierarchy, there's fear, and there's silence. And here's the twisted part. No one ever tells you the rules. You find out you've broken them when suddenly you're on the stand. Why are you acting like this? You've changed. You're making things harder for everyone. All because you said no. All because you told the truth. All because you started healing. Let's talk about how the villain role gets handed out in families. Sometimes the villain is the most emotional person in the family, the one who says the quiet part out loud. The one who cries during arguments or raises their voice when something is hurtful. Not because they want drama, but because they feel everything so deeply. It spills out. Other times, it's the person who broke away, the one who dared to live differently, who left the religion, came out, moved away, chose therapy over tradition, the one who said, "This ends with me." And then there's the truth teller, the one who sees the dysfunction clearly and calls it what it is. The one who says, "This wasn't normal. This hurt me." The one who won't pretend the holidays are happy or that everything is fine when it's not. Once the court decides you're the threat to their narrative, everything you do gets filtered through that lens. It doesn't matter how calm you are. It doesn't matter how many times you've tried to explain. You're no longer a person. You're a disruption. And it can be so subtle. You might not even notice it at first, just a weird energy shift, a sigh when you enter the room, a group text you weren't included in, a story retold at your expense while everyone laughs just a little too hard. And if you react, that becomes the proof. See, that's exactly what I mean. So dramatic, so difficult. It's infuriating, it's exhausting, and worst of all, it can make you question your own reality. Because when enough people treat you like a villain, it's easy to wonder if maybe they might be right. Maybe I really am the problem. Maybe I really am too much. Maybe I should just keep my head down. But here's what I want you to hear. You are not wrong for feeling what you feel. You are not wrong for breaking the silence. And you are not wrong for saying this hurt me. Families often cast someone as the villain because they don't know how to hold their own pain. And if they can't face the truth of what happened, then they'll try to silence the person who dares to speak it. You don't deserve to carry their discomfort on your back, and you don't have to stay in that courtroom. We're just getting started. Let's take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, when did I first realize I'd been cast in a role I didn't agree to? Whose comfort have I been protecting at the cost of my own clarity? What would it mean to stop defending myself and simply stand in my truth? You're not the character they wrote. You're the author now. Let's keep writing. Here's something hard to swallow. Many families, especially those with unresolved trauma or rigid roles, needs a villain. Not consciously, but emotionally, because if they can label someone as the problem, they don't have to look at the cracks in the foundation. She's so angry all the time means we don't have to ask why she's angry. He's always starts drama means we don't have to examine the actual dysfunction. They're just trying to cause trouble means we don't have to face what's already broken. You become a character in their fantasy, the unpredictable one, the rebel, the disappointment, the destroyer of peace. But here's the truth. Peace built on silence isn't peace. It's compliance, and eventually, someone has to break it. Unfortunately, the one who breaks it rarely gets applause. They get blamed. Let's talk about what happens when you live in this role for too long. You start to internalize the story. Maybe I really am too much. You second guess yourself constantly. You feel isolated even when you're in the room. And the worst part, you can start to play the role just to survive it. You might shut down or lash out. You might become defensive. You might act out of frustration or hurt, only to have those actions used as proof that you really are the villain. It's a trap, one designed to keep the story going. And let's not forget the loneliness. When people you love choose the version of you that keeps the family comfortable, you start to feel like a stranger in your own story. In the Queen's Court, you don't just get blamed, you get put on trial. But the evidence is cherry-picked. The witnesses are biased. The verdict was decided before you even arrived. You'll hear things like, "You always do this." Remember that time 10 years ago when? We were just trying to help. It's revisionist history. It's emotional gaslighting, and it's devastating. Because you start to doubt your own memory. You start to question your instincts, and that's exactly how they keep you quiet. But here's the truth. Just because the court is loud doesn't mean it's right. Now, let's talk strategy, because staying in the Queen's Court will drain you, but stepping out of it, that takes courage. Here's how to begin. Refuse the role. You don't have to accept their version of you. Write your own story. Speak it. Live it. Set boundaries. Even if they don't like it, boundaries don't make you a villain. They make you someone who respects themselves. Don't argue with the court. The more you try to convince them, the deeper you sink. You don't owe anyone a defense for your healing. Find your people. Build a chosen family that truly sees you. You deserve safe mirrors. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away, even if it means walking alone for a while. You are not the villain in your own life. You are not too loud, too sensitive, or too rebellious. You're responding to pain. You're seeking truth. You're trying to build something more honest, more whole. So let's flip the script. Instead of troublemaker, try truth teller. Instead of selfish, try self-respecting. Instead of dramatic, try deeply feeling. Reclaiming your narrative doesn't mean everyone will agree with you, but it means you stop abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable. And that's freedom. As we close up today's episode, I want to leave you with this. The Queen's Court was never meant to give you justice. It was built to protect the illusion of harmony. But you don't have to play the villain to keep the peace. You don't have to stay small so others can feel big. You have the right to change, to question, to grow, even if they don't like it, even if they never understand. And if you've been exiled from the court, that might just be the beginning of your liberation. Thanks for spending this time with me. If this episode hit home, I encourage you to reflect, journal, and reach out to someone who really sees you. Until next time, I'm Courtney, and this is Wonderland Unlocked. Stay curious, stay free, and remember, just because they call you the villain does not mean you are.